But what we know is that in Dallas, Texas, an ICE facility, an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility, was opened fire upon by a violent left-wing extremist, a person who wrote anti-ICE messaging on their bullets, and there's some evidence that we have that's not yet public, but we know this person was politically motivated. They were politically motivated to go after law enforcement. They were politically motivated to go after people who are enforcing our border. And I think that is the most disgusting thing. The very people who keep us safe ought to be honored and protected and praised by Democrats and Republicans alike. It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. But what we know is that in Dallas, Texas...
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah, we actually had something else planned for today, but of course, you know, with how crazy things are in the world at the moment, we can't just do what we want to talk about. We got to talk about current events and what's going on right now. And again, this... You know, me and Chad, we're usually pretty slow to talk about these shootings because we like to wait for all the information to come out. But, I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious. I mean, there's only one political party that is for violence, that is pro-violence, and I'm going to give you a little hint. It's not Republicans. It's not people on the right. It is the left. The left has always been the more violent party. The right, for whatever reason, and again, the right-wing terrorism is a meaningless statement because, Tim Pool talks about this. I mean, if you want to basically you put together a nonprofit that aggregates data, and then you can determine what factors determine what makes right-wing and left-wing. That's all the ADL, that's all the... What are all these organizations called?
It's the ADL is the main one that people use. That's the one that everybody quotes. But the thing is like, anything that's considered anti-government
is right-wing.
Is thrown in the right wing.
Despite the fact there are left-wing anti-government parties.
Yeah, there are anti-communist factions, of the government. And, like, that's what you could argue that most communes, like an Amish commune, is kind of more communistic because they are self-sustaining and they're anti-government. They have nothing to do with the government.
Yeah. But, I mean, again,
but because it's anti-government, they classify it as right-wing.
But, I mean, here's the thing, too. It's like they probably don't even classify anarcho-communists as right-wing because, I mean...
They're considered anti-government. Yeah.
Because they're considered anti-government. They're anti-government. That's what anarcho-communism is. So, again, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, with this shooting, with the shooting that happened in, L.A., or at the ABC branch, like it was a local news station. Somebody just did a drive-by shooting. That guy is back out on the street, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah, they released him. He was released on bail.
Holy crap! I didn't even look that up. That's insane.
Yeah, he's back out on.
Because I pulled up all the other shootings just now that we were just talking about for today's show.
I was watching Crowder or Tim Pool, and they had confirmed it. They were like, yeah, no, he's back out on the street. He was released on bail because you can basically do anything you want in California.
Yeah,
and there are more protections for criminals than there are for the people.
Jesus. Okay, well, I've got the article pulled up right here. We won't go completely into it, but 1 dead, 2 in critical condition after shooting at Dallas ICE facility. Officials said that 3 people were shot at the Texas field office at the ICE detainees and that had no ICE officers were hurt. The shooter was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. What we know, 3 detainees were shot at the Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas, Texas this morning, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement. And here's the big thing. The news, since it was detainees that were shot, immediately went to the fact that it was a right-wing Republican that shot them. And the problem is that doesn't make any sense, is why, if they're arrested and in the facility, why would you shoot them? If they're going to if they're going to do something like that, it would make more sense if it was somebody who was just shot on the street. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
once they're detained,
it would be like a Republican goes to Home Depot and starts capping Mexicans. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the headline would read. If things are happening the way you want them to happen, why would you kill people who are being detained or in jail?
Exactly. The left wants you to believe unbelievable things. But that's the point, was like they tried to spin this that it was a right-wing person who was shooting detainees, where all it really was is the guy was shooting into a window or a porthole or whatever they called it of the ICE facility indiscriminately.
Yeah.
He hit detainees, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy that they were shooting people because I think people being shot, but the most ironic thing you'd ask for is an anti-ICE protester shooting shooting detainees and killing detainees in an ICE facility and not hitting any ICE officers.
Yeah, again, folks, they want you to believe that, some right-wing Republican racist was like, oh, boy, I'm going to go to that ICE facility and I'm going to be shooting Mexicans. It's like shooting fish in a barrel because they're already locked up. That is retarded. And again, this goes to show you how crazy people on the left are. Like, they don't care who they hit or who they harm. They just want to cause violence and chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, again, no planning or thought really went into this. The guy was just like, I'm angry. So Donald Trump's weaponizing the government and the ICE just to deport these people. There's no such thing as illegal people. And they just go in and do something absolutely stupid like this. I mean, again, and then hurt the people they're allegedly trying to help.
Yep.
I mean, again, this is dumb.
Yeah. So we'll get back to it. One person is dead. 2 others are in critical condition, according to DHS. No ICE officers were hurt. The Dallas police said that the news conference that the victims' identities have not been publicly released yet. The shooter, who was found dead with a self-inflicted gun wound, has been identified as Joshua John, according to multiple senior law enforcement officials briefed on the investigation. A bullet near the shooter bore a message that were anti-ICE in nature. Special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI office, Joe Rothrock, said that in a news conference, he said that the attack was an act of targeted violence. The shooter fired multiple rounds from a nearby roof or an elevated position down into the field office sally port, whatever a sally port is. See, that's what I said, window or sally port. And the ICE spokesperson confirmed the motive or what the shooter was targeting was not immediately clear. Well, it's clear now, so we can
put that to bed.
Exactly. But yeah, the left is constantly amping up the rhetoric and the violence. Like, since Charlie Kirk, that's what I have pulled up here next. Since Charlie Kirk, we have had this right here. The FBI nabs 2 men for allegedly placing a device underneath Fox affiliate news van.
Incendiary device. That means an explosive.
And it also tells you, like, this was right after Charlie Kirk's shooting. So there's that. Then there's this next one right here, which we talked about this. These were the 2 Islamic guys. These are the 2 Islamic jihadists that were living there. And then we have this one right here that I have pulled up. Well, if my computer will pull it up. There we go.
Yeah.
Crazed gunman shouts free Palestine before opening fire and killing guests at Sky Meadow Country Club. This was the day after Charlie Kirk shooting. So there's been like no break. The left is constantly doing something, shooting somebody up. There is no right-wing equivalent.
You can't really associate Islam with the left. You can blame Islam's presence here on the left, but you can't say it's left. Because technically Islamic... and again, this is why I don't like the whole... because the vast majority of the numbers of terrorist attacks and stuff, the vast majority of terrorist attacks are actually brought up by right-wing people, but they count Islam as right because it's religious fundamental. So, which technically is true. But, like I said, it's not right-wing people who want Muslims to come into this country.
Yeah.
Because we know what the threat of Islam is, and we know what it looks like. I mean, 9/11 is living proof of what the threat of Islam is to our country.
Exactly.
But, again... the way that they do the statistics, whenever they say right-wing extremists are the cause of the mass majority of terrorist attacks, again, they're counting 9/11. They're counting all 2,000 people that died during 9/11 as right-wing extremism.
Yep.
That shouldn't count as right-wing extremism. That should, literally, it should be right-wing, left-wing, and then Islam should be in a category all by itself.
Yeah.
All by its lonesome.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it also needs to be, they need to clean it up with the definition we was talking about, anti-government. There should be anti-government right-wing and anti-government left-wing.
Again, these organizations, do not trust these people who put out these studies and these surveys, because what is the methodology of it? And again, when you look at the methodology of what the ADL does or how they aggregate this stuff and what they count as right and left-wing will shock you. Or what they don't count as right wing and left wing at all. Again, let's say if we counted all the shootings in Chicago as left wing because it's mainly a Democrat city, the stats would look very different.
Yeah.
like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create my nonprofit organization and say, we're going to aggregate all gun violence, period. Not just, and then we're just going to categorize it as the left or right. And the category is just, do I think that they're Republican? Do I think that they're a Democrat?
Yeah.
You are screwed. Like, I mean, that's the methodology of the ADL, basically, except everything has to be on the left, on the right violence, because the vast majority of stuff is left-wing violence, period.
Absolutely correct. But that's pretty much what I've got from those articles. I have a couple other articles pulled up here, but first I'm going to show like a video. This is a actual video of like phone video of the shooting that took place. I think this is inside of a van that was just outside the facility.
Really?
Yeah. Gunshots heard during deadly shooting at Dallas ICE facility. So this is just a video. Like, you don't see anything and you just hear it. You know, you don't really understand what's going on, but I just thought this was interesting, so I had it pulled up.
Yeah, let it ride.
Where's my volume?
Sangre de Cristo, ni se cúbranse ahí.
You can kind of barely hear it, but that's why I said you don't really hear much. You just hear the gunshots.
Yeah, I figured they'd be faster,
Pon
too.
el celular ahí a mano ahí que... Ay, Dios mío.
See, and listen to how far apart those shots are. It's like he was attempting to aim or something, or maybe he was having a malfunction or a jam. Like, why is he shooting that slow?
Don't know. But this brings up the next articles that I have here, which I have it pulled up twice for some weird reason. But the left-wing terrorism is on the rise from the Atlantic.
Yeah,
and this is from the Atlantic. This is a left-wing outlet. So, for the first time in 30 years, attacks on the far left outnumbers those on the far right, which is just what we talked about, is that the left has been lying about these numbers for years. Everything that is anti-government, that's considered anti-government, is classified as right-wing, even though we know that there are anti-government left-wing attacks. But anything that's considered anti-government, they classify as right-wing. So, getting into this, no matter how hard the ideologies try to exclusively blame for their political foes for the acts of violence, the truth is that the violent extremists today emerge from across the political spectrum. We have studied this problem and believe that our data can help illuminate an issue too often defined as partisan finger-pointing. As part of the study to be published this week by the Center of Strategic and International Studies, we compiled and analyzed a data set of 750 attacks and plots in the United States from January 1994 to July 4th, 2025. And here's something else that they talked about. It's like they only do it from the 90s, because if they go back to the 70s and 80s, they have to get into the Weather Underground.
Yeah.
Which would all be considered left-wing terrorism at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like, remember that? I mean, who's the guy that gives speeches all over college campuses that bombed the...
I think it's Ron or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but I know exactly who
he
you're
goes.
talking.
I mean, he literally gives lectures in colleges now. Like, I mean, like, he bombed the Pentagon.
Yep.
He literally bombed the Pentagon. Same goes with those crazy feminists who's like one of the feminists is in charge of BLM now. The ones that bombed the what did they bomb? They bombed the Pentagon too.
They bombed something. I don't know if it was a post office or something. But yeah, these people will bomb government facilities regularly.
And then they're paid millions of dollars to give speeches all over college campuses. Like, yeah, we were doing good. You know, like, we're the good guys. Crazy.
But we'll get into it. It said, our research focuses on incidents of terrorism, which defines attacks or plots or by non-state actors attempting to achieve political ends, and experts of psychological influence on a broad population. Among other details, the data set includes types of weapons used and intended targets, the number of fatalities, and the ideologies of the perpetrators. And it looks like we're going to have to pay to get the rest of it. But anyway, we found that left-wing terrorism has increased since Donald Trump's rise to political prominence in 2016. Indeed, 2025 marks the first time in more than 30 years that the left wing outnumbers those on the far right. Despite this recent increase, the left-wing terrorism is not nearly as common today as it was in the 60s and 70s. See, they even admit that it was more in the 60s
wow,
and 70s.
that's amazing omission right there.
Those remarks at the height of such groups of the Weather Underground and the, I don't know how to say this, Symbionese Liberation Army Best known for kidnapping newspaper heiress Patty Hearst in 1980s and early 90s. See, that's why they started this little survey from the 90s, because if they went back any further, they're going to see that the left has been the prominent party.
You don't hate organizations like the ADL, these anti-defamation leagues, enough, because, again, their entire worldview is based off of the fact that their politics is indefensible. They know their politics is indefensible. They know if they actually did. Let's go from the founding of America to today. Oh, crap, we lose. We are the terrorists. But they can't do that. It's like, well, let's start at the 90s. Oh, by the way, we also count everything that happened on 9/11, all the deaths during 9/11, as we can't just count that as one event. We have to count every single death towards the right wing.
Yep.
Like, the right wing did that.
Yep.
It's like that. Think of how disgusting that is. These people don't care about the truth. They don't care about the facts. They just care about being able to use their graphs and their charts and their arbitrary data and their cherry-picked data to use it as a cudgel against Republicans and conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yep. It's all it's ever been. But that also brings up to this next thing that I have pulled up here, Resolution 26, deeming certain conduct of members of Antifa as a domestic terrorism and designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. So Trump has designated Antifa as a terrorist organization. So now the only thing to do now is to try to get the states to enforce this. So they said, I guarantee you all the Republican states will enforce it in a heartbeat. The question is, are these left-wing governors in these blue, it's just like I said, there's no such thing as a blue state. There are blue cities within red states, but instead of these blue Democratic governors to enforce these laws.
Yeah.
So that's the issue that we're going to be having now.
Yep.
That's what I've got from there, and there's one other little detail that I will bring up, and if you want me to, I can pull up the ADL's website. But the other thing was there was also a school shooting that happened the exact same day as the Charlie Kirk shooting. Yeah, and they don't talk about it as much.
Well, no. See, the problem is, I saw that people on the left were talking about, like, nobody did a candlelight vigil or had a football stadium shut down for the funerals of all these kids that died. It's like, well, Charlie Kirk was a huge public figure. Like, again, it would be like, it's like the next Benedict thing here. You know, it's like there was a vigil here. Like, people in the community showed up and went to that. Yeah. It's like yes. You're not going to have, like, it's like, you know.
The sad, harsh reality that someone dies locally and the whole globe doesn't care about it. Yeah. Yeah, is a big thing. Whereas Charlie Kirk was on. It was
a national
icon. You know, I mean, is it unfortunate that that he got more attention than the kids dying at the school? Yes.
I mean, again, it's like the George Floyd thing is nothing short of it's a miracle of why would anyone care about that in general? You know, they go it's because of police brutality, but that's not really it. Like, I mean, like the guy was not a good dude. Yeah. You know, and somehow he became
a martyr and
an icon on the left. And again. Those memes of Charlie Kirk that you showed on the show the other day, that's like, look, this is our martyr. This is your martyr. Mm-hmm. He's a porn actor. He was starred in porn films, beat and abused his wife, was an absentee father. Like, he's your hero. And then we have Charlie Kirk, like evangelical, Christian, conservative, who was just trying to talk to his political opponents.
Person who was trying to get a dialogue between the left and the right versus... Again, it's the same thing as always. The left defends criminals.
Yes.
Criminality. They defend criminals and criminality.
I'll say this to everyone. If you think Charlie Kirk was a divisive figure, you might want to reevaluate your politics if you think Charlie Kirk was a decisive figure. Charlie Kirk is moderate conservatism to its core. Mm-hmm. Reevaluate yourself if you think Charlie Kirk's a radical. Like, oh, he believes in Jesus. He's crazy. He's clearly insane.
So, you know? Charlie Kirk was the moderate or like the basic like Republican position.
Yeah. He's white bread. He's milk. Like, he's nothing special.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing that made him special was the fact that he was so calm and so cool and so collected and was so charitable to his enemies. Charity at which people, like, if you don't like Charlie Kirk and you think Charlie Kirk was a bad dude, charity that you don't have in your heart to give to Charlie.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But as I was even showing is like PBD brought what's his name?
Nick
Fuentes on his podcast to talk about it. And Nick Fuentes talked about it. He goes, Charlie was my rival, or, you know, the person who was like my nemesis on the, what you could say, my right-wing nemesis. And it's just like, And I look, and that's what you even say. He goes, I look back on it, we agreed on more than we disagreed on. I'm just like, good Lord. When Nick Fuentes is giving the more rational position than the left is giving, whereas the left is like, kill him, kill his family too. You're like, Jesus.
Well, the unfortunate truth is Nick Fuentes' positions are a lot more rational than the vast majority of people on the left. It's like there's 150,000 genders, and kids should be able to cut their junk off at any age. It's like that. If you think Nick Fuentes' stuff is crazy, I know he's like a race realism stuff kind of guy, but again, at least those positions have data and are backed up by some studies. It's like people on the left, it's like they're making stuff up as they go.
Yeah. But here it is right here. It said Elon Musk reposted this from Colin Wright. This one needed an update, and it's the meme of the center, and it's 2008 where there's a guy on the right and there's a smiley face on the left, and then there's a guy that's like me, he's like kind of more left-leaning.
Yep.
And the center's, to his right.
Mm-hmm.
And then it shows the guy on the left after 2012 just taking off, just sprinting off to that way, and the center has moved and moved and moved, and now that guy who was slightly left-wing is now considered right-wing.
Yeah, this graph perfectly sums up like Tim Pool. It perfectly sums up Tulsi Gabbard. Perfectly sums up RFK. Perfectly sums up Elon Musk.
Most of the early day famous, I would say, internet debaters nowadays, it would sum up like Sargon of Akkad and most of the guys like that.
Absolutely.
But if you look here, I don't know if you can see it since you're so far away, but he's just like, look, he goes, what? Why are you so far right now? And then it shows that goes even further left again, and this time he's holding a rifle and he's aiming at the people on the right.
Again, this is a perfect meme posted by Elon Musk here.
Reposted.
This is exactly what's going on. The media, we have to blame the media for the weaponization of all of this. Again, if you call your opponents Nazis, if you call your opponents Hitler every single day, forever, what do you think is going to happen? Somebody's going to take it seriously and be like, I'm going to be that guy who goes back in time. If I got the DeLorean and got to go back in time
to stop Hitler,
to go back and stop Hitler, I'd do it. I'd do it. I'd save so many people. I'd be a hero. It's like, no, you wouldn't. But you just make yourself a monster.
Yep.
Going back in time and killing baby Hitler.
Yep, 100%. And then next one I have here, we've already shown this one before, but the slippery slope fallacy. And just let us get married. Just bake our cake, that's all. Just use our pronouns. Just let us dance and drag for your children. Let teachers choose your kids' genders. Let us buy infants from surrogates. The demons are telling me to kill Christians, and you are here. You must die because you are a right-wing extremist. And then it's Charlie Kirk saying, let's have a civil discussion.
Again, the slippery slope fallacy, we've been hit, again, the cudgel of the slippery slope fallacy has been used since the 90s. Since the 90s, that thing has been hitting us over the head. It's like, oh, you guys are just crazy. Your Christian morals and ethics are, you're just too much. You don't get it. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, love is love. Like, just let people do what they want. They're not hurting anybody. It's like, well, look at what's happening now.
Yeah.
We gave you an inch, you took a mile, and then you just kept going.
Yep.
Now you're like 100 miles away over here going, kids should be able to cut their junk off. And what is it now? NAMBLA is is it mainstream now? Like, again, we're letting gay couples adopt kids, and adopted boys too. It's like,
yeah, and then it turns out that they're
pimping their kids
Mm-hmm.
out. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's absolutely insane that the slippery slope fallacy has become a real thing. It was all things like, just let us get married. We're not going to force your churches or force you to bake cakes. And that literally happened within 5 to 10 years.
And again, obviously we know it's not all gay. I know there's that group Gays Against Groomers, which is that's a good organization. But again, I don't agree with the lifestyles of homosexuality, but gay people, you have to police your community harder. You have to come out hard. Gays Against Groomers, probably, since they're considered probably right-wing, probably don't get a lot of media attention.
No,
but
they don't.
You guys got to do something and be more aggressive. You have to call out the pedophiles in your group and say, hey, this ain't cool, because this is what we see.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's always the loud, obnoxious minority that gets all the attention. But again, at the end of the day, it's when we see the effects of it, that's what's going to be pushed out in the news every day.
Yep. Which is next one I have pulled up here. is "Shot the Wrong Person Again" award goes to the shooter at the ICE facility.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. That was posted by the Hodge twins, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, again, indiscriminate killing of people you're attempting to help. Again, it's these people don't have a brain in their head. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The fact that they thought that anybody could think that that was a good, rational, or smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Which brings me to this one right here. Is shooter opens fire at Dallas ICE facility, kills 2 illegal detainees, and injures another. Another day, another left-wing attack, and this was posted by the Daily Wire. FBI, and here's the bullets that they actually show. It says anti-ICE. It says FBI Director Kash Patel revealed that the bullet casings engraved with anti-ICE were recovered near the shooter. Mm-hmm. It says Matt Walsh, a post from Matt Walsh, left-wing violence is a national emergency. We can't even go a week without multiple left-wing terror attacks. The entire force of the federal government must be used ruthlessly to subdue and crush this terrorist threat. This cannot continue. We cannot live this way.
Yeah. And again, folks, this is civil war. And again, our perception of what civil war looks like, and I think Tim Pool talks about this a lot too. It's like we all think that it's going to be North versus South. We're going to have lines and rows of columns of men marching at each other, shooting each other in lockstep. That's not what it's going to look like. Civil war in a modern context is going to be this. It's going to be small acts of terrorism caused by individual radical groups like bombing or shooting up at media outlets or government buildings. What have you?
Well, we hit on this, and we hit on this, and Tim Pool has hit on this, and anybody that actually has studied the Civil War knows what it's actually about. It's like you have to remember everyone just pretends like it's North and South because that's where the armies were. The army. There's the Army of the North and the Army of the South. But the real reality is it was Democrats versus Republicans because they had Democratic allies in the northern states trying to petition in Congress to just secede to the demands of the South. And 2, you have to remember, Bleeding Kansas was a thing. There were attacks going on in Kansas about anti-slavery stuff for years before the Civil War ever broke out.
Yep.
So that's what everybody just tends to forget. And 2, it's the other part, too, is which one was the one where they picnicked outside, the Battle of Bull Run?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Battle of Bull Run where they were picnics and people came out. Nothing's going to happen. This is just a little elephant stomp by the North and the South, And it was literally turned into a battle where people were fleeing because all of a sudden an actual battle broke out. Nobody believed that anything was happening.
And again, nobody even really knew what the start of the Civil War was. Everyone's like, oh, bloody Kansas was the start of the Civil War. People didn't know that was the start of the Civil War.
Yeah.
No one was like, the Civil War has begun.
Yeah. You could even argue after Fort Sumter, nobody had officially thought that the Civil War had begun. They're just It's it wasn't until Bull Run where actual troops, 'cause remember, the only death at Fort Sumter was a cannon exploding by accident and
this
then killing
also
somebody.
ignores all of the terrorism that took place before that, all the lynchings, all the killings and stuff that took place.
Yes. The pro-slavery stuff and the anti-slavery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this 100%. It's everyone just thinks that it's normal until the actual, military is get involved. And then oh, now it's an actual war.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, the Civil War is not going to play out the way you think. And, again,
it will be because if you truly know the Civil War, it was the Democrats versus the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were people in the South who didn't want anything to do with slavery. They're they didn't care. They're I don't have slaves. This doesn't affect me one way or the other. And it was the same in the North. It's why are we fighting to free the slaves? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares about these people? I don't. It doesn't affect me one way or the other. I'm here.
Mm-hmm. But that's how it is. Everyone thinks that it was just oh, the lines were drawn and everyone knew exactly where they were. And it's no, that is not the case.
Yeah.
If you watch that, what was that Matthew McConaughey movie that came out?
Free State of Jones.
Free State of Jones. Free State of Jones was proof that not everybody was in a complete alignment in the Civil War.
And again, you most people won't know. Again, whenever war breaks out here, it's how affected were you by the Iraqi conflict, by the Afghan conflict? How affected were you? That's kind of what it was like for people who were not in the battles.
Yep.
You know what? The people in the South didn't get to drink coffee. They all missed coffee, and the people in the North missed. I can't remember what it was. There was some type of tea or something maybe. But so you'd only miss out on certain things.
Yeah.
Like certain luxury items. Like, oh no, the South, we don't have coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's
We don't get our fabric for our jeans or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
But this next thing here is Hillary Clinton comes on MSNBC and does not tone down the rhetoric like at all. And this is a post from Jack Posobiec, or I should say repost. It says, and here it is. Hillary Clinton reminds the left that the target is white Christian men, just like Charlie Kirk. And this is from Discourse TV. More, Hillary Clinton, the idea that you could turn back the clock to try and recreate a world that never was dominated by, well, let's just say it, white men of a certain persuasion, of a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology is just doing such damage. And we're going to hear it straight from the horse's, or in this case, the whore's mouth.
Yeah.
And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way, but I agree with you, we were on the right trajectory. And
oh my God! Again, how does anyone not think that she's a Marxist now? It's like maybe I could be like, okay, we're white men, but it's like, what does Christianity has made the world a better place, and she's pretending like Christianity hasn't made America a better place. Like again, Charlie Kirk's wife is a perfect example of how Christian ethics and morality work. I forgive the man who killed my husband. Is she saying without Christianity, you can take away the white men part, whatever. I mean, I think that's kind of it's a ridiculous statement on its face. But take that out of it. It's like, take out that Christian moral ethic, and then and Charlie Kirk's wife didn't say that, and she calls men to arms. What? How much higher is the temperature raised in this country?
To an extreme level.
Mm-hmm.
Said we're talking like possibly second. The first American crusade.
yeah, the first American crusade. That's a good point. But yeah, again, this is just the ramblings of a bitter old woman who didn't get her shot at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
So again, take nothing she says seriously. She is a washed up, dried up old hag who no one should take seriously, no one should listen to. She should be out of the political sphere. She's got her. And again, this is how you know that money doesn't buy you happiness. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are living proof that money doesn't buy happiness. If I was as wealthy as these people were, I would just saunter off and have a mansion or a big house out in the woods, tons of land, and just be like, no one can bother me, and just have a stock up of supplies and be like, no one's going to bother me.
That goes to show you the difference in mentality of the right and the left. The right is, I'm going to go off on my own and do my own thing, leave me alone. The left constantly has to be telling you what to do. The left is the bossy people. They're like, I need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it.
Well, it's because there's no truth but power.
Exactly.
Like, again, if you're on the right, we have an ethic, a moral principles, a moral framework. If you're on the left, there is no truth but power. And again, not all people on the left. There are people on the left who are Christian. There are people on the left who believe. But what I'm saying is, the end result, like if you go to the far left, it's like there is no truth but power. If you go to the far right, again, it's just Christian, I guess nationalism is what you would call it, like ethno-Christian nationalism. Okay? Again, they still have that moral framework of Christianity that's not going to allow them to kill or hurt people that don't harm them.
Yep.
Like self-defense is the only thing you could claim to them. It's like on the left, it's like we have to impose our values because there is no truth but power, and any dissenters must be silenced.
Yep, pretty much.
Again, that's what cancel culture originally was. Again, their whole Roseanne Barr thing. Now they're getting some consequence culture, and they're being like, the right's canceling their enemies. The right is wielding power. It's like, no, we're not. We're doing the exact same thing you guys did to us. Joe Biden did the same thing to Trump and his interests. Joe Biden prosecuted Donald Trump's lawyers.
Yes.
Like, you cannot prosecute someone for doing their job.
No.
I mean, and you can make the argument, well, Donald Trump's lawyers knew he was a criminal and were trying to protect. It's like, lawyers protect criminals all the time. How come we didn't arrest Al Capone's lawyers?
Again, so I talked about, if you charge the lawyers for the same crime of the criminal that they're protecting, no one is ever going to want to be a lawyer ever again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
I'll
only going to be a prosecutor.
Yeah. There's no such thing as defense lawyers anymore. It's just prosecutors.
Yeah. Then, which brings this next meme here. Again, we've already talked about this. From DC Drano. When George Floyd died, BLM organized riots nationwide that killed 25 to 40 people, injuring 900 cops and caused $2 billion worth of damages. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, people organized prayer vigils and millions of dollars were raised for his wife and 2 children. We are not the same. Said George Floyd with the
Molotov
cocktail, Charlie Kirk with
prayer
the
candle.
prayer candle. Makes perfect sense. Which also kind of what we were just leading about right here. I have this girl right here talking about this. I actually was going to do this for a show, but like I said, since everything's just been going so crazy this week, I might have to do it next week, but we'll let her touch on it. But it's like Google admits that they were pressured by Biden to censor conservative outlets.
Yeah.
So again, the left, you keep going, oh, there's no such thing as censorship. There's no such thing as censorship. Like, yeah, we just proved from YouTube, Google, and Facebook now that the left and the Democrats have been censoring Republican and more conservative-leaning outlets for years now. Years. So check this out.
What do you know? Google just admitted what we've been saying for years. Yes, they did censor Americans under Biden. Think about that. The place where you go to look up facts. Turns out Google was censoring the facts. They admitted they banned thousands of YouTube accounts for political speech. And people talking about schmovid. And elections. And many of those didn't even violate YouTube's own rules. Why? Because the Biden administration pressured them. That's not democracy. That's not free speech. That's government using big tech as their censorship arm. And now finally, after Jim Jordan's investigation, Google says they will let creators back on. But here's the question, Google. How many lives, voices, and elections were shaped by the censorship in the meantime? So no, don't tell me that you had all the facts. You only had what Google let you see. Turns out all of us conspiracy theorists were just ahead of the curve, per usual. So maybe the question isn't what we got wrong. It's what they didn't want you to know. Crazy! What do you know, Google?
So there's that. And what I've talked about on the show before with the Smith and Munson Act that Obama put into place in 2012, it is legal for the government to propagandize its citizenry. So thanks, Obama. That's the reason why the left literally owns the censorship tool. That's why they are so committed to sending people into these big tech companies and getting into these news organizations. Why do you think all the left wing is so, all the media is so left wing? It's because Obama put people there. It's probably been in a plan for a while now. It's like, but that's what the left does. The left goes and takes over the positions of these places, becomes the leaders of them, and then they choose what narratives go out.
Yeah. Again, the left doesn't build things. They infiltrate, take over, and destroy from within. So, again, this is what they do. And they've had their hand on the censorship button for years, especially since the Obama years. Remember, Obama didn't let any journalists in that weren't pros. Like, they had one Fox News journalist, and he got kicked out several times.
Mm-hmm. They wouldn't take questions from him regularly.
Yeah.
But which brings up to the next thing, that the big trend that's been going around right now is tylenol is bad for pregnant women.
Yeah.
So the new big thing is, and Trump made a big announcement about it with RFK Jr. about it, and everyone's like, I'm not, and there's all these things, these pregnant women taking Tylenol has been going around, going viral. Well, the thing is, like, I'm not listening to the president. The president's not a doctor. Well, the problem is the president and RFK Jr. did not just declare aspirin this. They got it from a Harvard study. There's 3 college studies about this. There are 3 different citations from colleges, and it's from Harvard. Harvard, the bastion of right-wing conspiracy theory talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Came out with this study. Harvard study using, and I don't know how to say this, antihistamine, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, but Tylenol basically during pregnancy may increase children autism and ADHD risks. Go over, said, and then again, then you have the actual quote from Tylenol from 2017. Mm-hmm. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns. So both Harvard and Tylenol both say bad for pregnant women. And what are pregnant women doing? They're playing God with their children. They're tempting pregnancy. Again, that's just the thing again from Tylenol from 2017.
Yeah, don't be stupid, folks. Don't be taking Tylenol for no reason, especially if you're a pregnant woman. Again, but if Trump really wanted to get rid of his political opponents, he should just say, "Hey guys, bleach is bad for you. Don't drink bleach." Then people on the left, bleach is good for you. I think it tastes better than soda.
Yep. And which brings me to this next one. Here, David Asprey. Autism rates globally. Still think it's genetic. Imagine that. The places with modern medicine. Mm-hmm. So, again, the pharmaceutical companies are doing this to you. Like I said,
my fiance, though, would argue and say it's because a lot of those third world countries don't have the infrastructure and they don't have the way to do
exactly. They don't mark these things down. They go, oh, there's nothing wrong. Your kid's not missing an arm or bleeding out. We're not going to mark it down as anything good. You get out of here. Yeah.
And again, you remember, like places like third world countries, like and I'm not calling like my girlfriend's country a crap hole, but like I said, remember they don't have infrastructure like we do. They don't. Again. The fact that we have garbage men who come up and pick up garbage from our house and take it somewhere and get rid of it is amazing. Like in some countries, like Vietnam and India, they'll just toss their trash in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, we don't have anywhere to take it. Throw it in the ocean.
Yeah, I'll talk about this later because we're already running over. We're already at 40 minutes right now.
Crap.
Yeah, so this one went by quick, man. But I was going to say is like the one of mom actually sent me this one, but did you see the one? Did she send you the one of the guy saying where you can actually show where you can get drinking water?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that one where actually the American, he asked his American like high school students like what they thought, and they go, they didn't see any value in staying in America anymore. They're like, I would get my money and go to like Mexico or something, and then they said go to Germany or whatever, and he was just like, okay, if you have $30,000, you won't last in Germany. You'll last in Germany maybe 6 months. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and if you go to Mexico, he goes, your money will last you a long time there, but he goes, then he said he pulled up the thing, goes, pull up this website, goes, where can I drink the water? It's like something like that. I was like, where can I drink the water? Mm-hmm. And like, there's like no other countries besides, of course, Western European countries that you can drink straight out of the tap.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't know that's because we're not teaching kids these things anymore. They just assume that every place in the world is like America.
Again, this is the whole global citizen initiative thing. It's like there is no pride in being an American anymore. It's like, look, there's a reason people want to come here because they can't drink their water. They don't have infrastructure in their country. They want to come here because they see the minute things are amazing. Running water? Wow. Infrastructure to pick up trash? Amazing. You're able to drink water that comes out of the tap. And we have fluoride in the water, so a lot of people are like, don't drink that water, but you can drink it if you were close to dying. You'd be like, look, if you're thirsty and you're dying of dehydration, drink out of the tap. So again, people just we take so much for granted in this country, and it is so bothering to me that kids just don't know. And again, this is that whole we're citizens of the world crap, It's like, no, you're citizens of this nation. You're citizens of your state. You should have your civic responsibility to you have a moral obligation to your family. Again, so it's like what Jordan Peterson says, start small, clean your room. Take care of yourself. And if you can take care of yourself, then you can take care of your immediate family. If you can take care of your immediate family, then you can widen your gap to your community. It's like, I'm going to volunteer at the local food place. I'm going to volunteer and pick up trash on the side of the road, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can go bigger than that. Like, now I can help my greater my county area. I can help the county.
And that's what the problem is like schools and professors nowadays teach kids to focus on the biggest problem and then work your way down, whereas it's Jordan Peterson's philosophy is correct. You start on the smallest problem closest to you and work your way out. You don't start out and work your way back in because you have nothing to show for yourself.
Yeah.
No one's going to take you seriously when they go over to your house and see that your house is in shambles and go, your house is in complete shambles, and you expect us to believe that you know how to fix the world's problems?
Now, again, maybe if you're one of the lucky few who can go ahead and start making a ton of money real quick and you can hire somebody to clean your house, that's different. You've generated
taking
enough
care of your house.
You've generated enough worth to be able to delegate that responsibility out to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But most of us are never going to have that luxury. We got to take care of our own house. We got to make sure. Again, this is private. This is why private property ownership is the greatest indicator of whether or not something's going to be taken care of.
Yep.
It's like I care about how my car looks. I care about how my house looks. I care about how my lawn looks.
Yes. They said that your neighborhood is going to crap if all the houses around you are starting to turn into rent homes.
Mm-hmm.
Because a renter does not view that house as theirs. It's not theirs. Like, it's not my property. I don't give a crap. That's exactly right. They're not going to mow their lawn. They're not going to take care of their house. It's not their house to take care of. It's just a place that they're living under currently.
Yep. Nobody
So-
cares about your stuff more than you do.
Yeah, imagine that.
Now, people might envy you and your stuff, but they don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is why if you work hard for something and you break, and it's like, it's like when you grow up, you wonder why your dad takes care of his boat or he takes care of his Corvette or whatever so much. It's like, because he busted his butt to afford that and to keep and maintain it. It's like, that's something he wanted. So, again, private property ownership, greatest indicator of whether or not you live in a good society.
Yeah, 100%. But that's pretty much all we've got for today. This was the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. And be sure that you do, because the more engagement we get, the more we can grow the channel. The more eyes on YouTube will send to, and the other platforms you send this to will put on our video. So share with your friends, comment below, send a like, share it. And that's pretty much all we've got for today. Anything else?
No, that's it. God bless you, and we will see you later, everybody.
Catch you on the next one. Later.
So I throw up my head and praise you again. I know it's not much, nothing else. One more time. So I throw